About us, stranded ship workers demand answers after learning of TCI patient being flown into the island. A very pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the People's Forum of Industries with Big Stone. The Jamaican workers stranded overseas on board the Marella Discovery 2 cruise ship have demanded answers from the government after learning that the ban on incoming passengers was relaxed for a gravely ill patient from the Turks and Caicos Islands who needed emergency medical treatment here. The male patient arrived at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston Thursday night on board an air ambulance. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang has confirmed. He was later transported to the University Hospital of the West Indies in St. Andrew, where he tested positive for the dreaded coronavirus disease COVID-19, the hospital admitted in a statement yesterday. This development comes nearly 2 weeks since the Marella Discovery 2, with 43 Jamaican workers seeking to disembark, was refused landing in Kingston because of the ban on incoming passenger, which was imposed last month as part of the government COVID-19 containment measures. How could this be possible, given the fact that 43 Jamaican citizens were denied landing a few weeks ago? One of the ship workers queried yesterday, why weren't the protocols followed to obtain the requisite exemption from the order restricting incoming passenger traffic in Jamaica for 43 Jamaican citizens, but it was for someone from the Turks and Caicos Islands. The ship worker, whose name is being withheld, expressed sympathy for the TCI patient, but insisted that they were treated unfairly. The crew members are not carriers of COVID-19 and would not pose any threat to our families or the wider population. However, this foreigner tested positive, putting our healthcare workers at risk, he stated. The stranded crew members got support from Matondo Mukulu, former public defender in Jamaica and a barrister in the United Kingdom, where the Marella Discovery 2 is now docked. Mukulu believed most Jamaicans would not take issues with a relaxation of the ban for the TCI patient, but I think every Jamaican would also say that it appears that the government does not know how to define an emergency, because 43 hard-working Jamaicans wanting to disembark is also an emergency. Not because they were not faced with a life and death situation does not mean that it was not an emergency, he said yesterday. However, Chang defended the decision to relax the ban and allow the TCI patient to get treatment at the university hospital, saying it was a medical emergency. Chang insisted too that there were no comparison between the two cases and that both were handled professionally. It's a different case altogether, completely different. The two things can't be treated the same way. The Marella Discovery 2 arrived in Kingston on April 2nd, according to reports. It refueled and waited hours for docking clearance, but left after a day when no response came from the government. Prime Minister Andrew Onis revealed during a press conference last week that he and some members of the cabinet agreed informally that the ship workers should be allowed to disembark in their homeland. However, he said the ship, through its agent, withdrew the application for docking clearance and left before the process was completed. Chang explained that the TCI man is a patient of the University of the West Indies, having had surgery at the Mount St. Andrew Hospital in March of this year, he noted. Also, that Jamaica has a long-standing arrangement with the TCI to treat serious medical cases. According to the university, he was a cancer patient who had a bleeding gastric cancer, treated on March 16 this year. He returned home 10 days later, the hospital said in a statement yesterday. He went back home after the surgery and developed significant complications which required intensive care treatment. There's a legal and moral obligation to bring him back to the university hospital and treat him for a procedure that was done in Jamaica recently, Chang asserted. The National Security Minister noted that there was a provision in the Disaster Risk Management Order that gives him the authority, subject to the approval of Cabinet, to approve the easing of the ban on incoming passenger ships. I'm very, very uncomfortable, ladies and gentlemen, reading to you from this mass, but I say it is a required, needed asset to the fight against this dreaded coronavirus disease. I'm going to remove the mask because there's nobody here but me, and I'm not at risk of catching an infection, or if I'm infected, I'm not at risk of giving it to anyone. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the story, you have listened to the news as it is reported. What are your thoughts? I want you to make a comment in the comment section below. What are your thoughts? Did the Jamaican government handle the situation in the most ideal of way for all parties concerned, or they did not respond quickly enough to make sure that our fellow Jamaicans was rescued while stranded at sea? Now, you understand protocol. Protocol do take some time, and they have to wait for certain things. But I'm saying to the prime ministers and those members of government, when it comes to a Jamaican stranded, the topmost, highest priority should be given, because as Jamaican citizens, we must be prioritized. If this had happened in the United States of America, I can guarantee you the United States government would never allow a ship, its citizens, on board. Their policy, I know, is very, very serious when it comes to the United States citizens stranded elsewhere in other foreign countries. I read the news, I brought the details to you. Comment in the section below and let me hear how you feel about the Jamaican government. Did they handle this case properly, or they messed up on this one? Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And please wear a mask when you're going out in the public and try to have a safe day. Thank you so much for watching.